Welcome to A Seat at the Table. I'm Zanele Kumalo, editor of W24, and today we're going to be talking about love and relationships. We've got Ganerwe Motwa, and then we have Leah C4, and then we have Deborah Darling.
Cheers. Cheers.
I think maybe we can talk about what's happening currently, how online dating and social media has changed the game completely.
I am in a relationship and it's quite online, but it wasn't anything that was planned. It was just a seamless thing that sort of happened. We didn't plan to say, okay, now that we're in a relationship, we're gonna actually put it out there into the world. It's never like, oh, we're so in love, oh. No, it's none of that.
You know, I think it became such a thing with social media to put your relationship in such a false sense of happiness and security. And it is something that I work with a lot, is how do you compete with the picture you're creating to the world, you know, of what your relationship is when reality is anything but. Yeah. So I think people have really moved in a direction of, I'm not going to put it out there anymore.
But then my thing is, I don't put it out there so that people kind of think my relationship is perfect, or I'm trying to be couple goals with my bae or bae goals or whatever.
I think the biggest thing that people face with social media is the infidelity that may not be physical infidelity, but it's definitely emotional infidelity. You start to form relationships on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook with all of your followers, and you get private messages and your partner doesn't know that's happening.
So do you feel that love as a concept has changed? Or do you think kind of way that we express ourselves has changed, or what we have to deal with has changed, but love will always be love?
I am in a relationship and I've been in it for a long time, but I don't make it very public on social media. It's not hidden at all. I mean, he pops up in conversations and in the posts that I make, the fact that I have a boyfriend. I don't feel that it's necessary to talking about my relationship on social media at all.
But so is it a conscious decision when you post something and really think about what it is that you're sharing with the world?
I think about what I'm sharing, but not in terms of my relationship or not. My relationship is a little different in that we aren't married and we don't live together, although we've been together for 12 years. So we aren't joined at the hip. We aren't all hooked up in each other's lives to that extent. It's interesting because when people often first hear about our relationship, they're very puzzled and they don't know, they can't sort of make a head or tail of it. And the more people get to know you, then they start to see that having your own space is a lovely thing.
I think it's great. I think living separately, people are finding far more intimacy, weirdly, when they're apart, because it's now you have to consciously intend time together.
Also, if you talk about identity, sexual identity, gender identity.
The group of people that I see having the most problems sexually are the millennials. Quite often no sexual relationship is happening. So there's intimacy, but sex is really hard for much younger generations, and I do feel that a lot of the social media plays a massive part in that how we start connecting with each other is not face-to-face.
The whole marriage thing and living together with your partner. I live with my partner right now, and me being a black girl, that's very like out there for my culture. It's like you can't live with your boyfriend or a partner when you're not married.
There's this thing about lobola. It's a huge issue for younger generations, and you know the whole thing is, well, it's my culture. I'm like, but does it work?
This is the main reason why black women don't get married.
Of course. And there's the primal kind of thing of, I'm buying you. That's what gets me about it. It's like, you become my property, and therefore I have the right to become the authority of your life. So it's again, how much do we honor tradition, and how much do we need to say that is no longer workable? Let me just say, with younger people, the priorities have really shifted.
What are your ideas around kind of the role of the modern family and how that's also changed? Do you find that you're friends with blended families more? What's the kind of setup that you see yourself in?
I have friends whose parents are either both male or female. I relate to everyone. I have no problem with it. I actually think it's liberating.
Look, I think with any blended family, there's always going to be the problem with the new partners and children having to adapt to new parents and new step-parents, and I don't see that ever changing. It's always going to be, that's far more personal.
A word of advice for people coming after you, if you had to say, okay, the millennials, this is what I would say to you, knowing what I know now.
I read something the other day, it was a definition of love, and I thought it was so beautiful. And to me it encapsulates everything that love is about and what I've discovered that love is about. And that love is an absence of judgment, simply that. And if you can live like that, there won't be conflict. So that for me is something to...
Wow, yeah. And if you could tell your mother or grandmother something that you feel that they should know.
I think the older generation, especially in black cultures, need to sort of expand their knowledge on what's actually happening with every type of sex. Whether you're lesbian, you're gay, you are transgender, like that book needs to be left open for people to fill it out themselves.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
A lovely meeting you,
You too.
ladies.
Thank you.